In her extensive and untamed desert, in which alien plant life and fauna stretched as far as the eye may want to see, a lone human woman walked with an unnatural grace. Her lengthy, raven-black hair flowed freely in the back of her like a silken veil, and her emerald-green eyes scanned the environment with the depth of a predator on the hunt. She changed into clad in leather and furs, worn and dwindled from infinite trips via the harsh terrain. Her call became Arya, and she or he became a legend among her type. For she became now not handiest the last of her humans, however also the most effective human to have ever set foot on this alien world. Arya had been stranded on the Earth for decades, having crash-landed there as a young woman. Over time, she had learned to conform to the approaches of the arena around her, mastering the humanities of looking and survival. But sooner or later, whilst foraging for food in a dense wooded area, she stumbled upon something she had in no way visible earlier than. A small, bushy creature, no larger than a resident's cat, lay helpless in the dust, its delicate limbs twitching spasmodically. It was clear that the creature were injured, and Arya could not help but sense pity for it. With gentle palms, she picked up the injured creature and cradled it in her palms. It set free a smooth whimper, but did not battle towards her touch. Arya's coronary heart went out to the poor component, and he or she knew then and there that she should store it. She cleaned its wounds and nursed it again to health over the path of numerous days, and for the duration of that time, the two of them fashioned an not-going bond. The creature, which Arya named Luna, had become her steady partner, following her everywhere she went and protected her from the risks that lurked in the shadows. Luna became not like some other animal Arya had encountered before. She became sensible, curious, and fiercely unswerving. As the months turned into years, Arya began to educate Luna how to speak her language and even how to use some of her gear. And in Go Back, Luna taught her many stuff, approximately the methods of the arena on this abnormal new planet. They became greater than just companion animals. They have become buddies, and sooner or later, almost like sisters. One day, even as Arya and Luna were traveling via a rocky canyon, they had been ambushed through a set of extraterrestrial beings who were rational on harming them. Arya attempted to cause with them, however, they would now not listen. The extraterrestrial beings drew their weapons and charged at the two women. Arya drew her personal sword, geared up to shield herself and her friend, whilst Luna sprang into action. With surprising velocity and agility, the small creature leapt among Arya and the advancing aliens, growling menacingly. The aliens had been taken aback through the ferocity of Luna's attack and momentarily paused, giving Arya the opportunity she wished. She lunged ahead, disarming one of the aliens before spinning round to face any other. The aliens have been professional warriors, however Arya was no normal human. Her years of survival in this global had honed her abilities to a razor's aspect. As the warfare raged on, Arya should sense Luna's presence at her side, nipping on the aliens' heels and distracting them on every occasion they grew too near. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of fighting, Arya controlled to dispatch the final of the extraterrestrial beings. She turned to Luna, panting heavily, and thanked her for her help. Luna simply nuzzled in opposition to her leg, as though to mention that she was satisfied she could help. In the give-up, Arya and Luna's bond had stored not only their personal lives, however additionally the lives in their alien allies. The extraterrestrial beings, inspired by way of Arya's prowess and Luna's loyalty, invited them to enroll in their tribe, spotting the precise bond that the two of them shared. And so, Arya and Luna persevered to explore the tremendous and wondrous global they called domestic, always ready to face whatever demanding situations lay in advance together. As the years handed, Arya and Luna became revered figures amongst their people, reputable for his or her bravery and knowledge. Arya taught the aliens many of the competencies she had learned on Earth, inclusive of farming and metalworking. Even as Luna continued to function, her relied on marketing consultant and confidant. Their humans prospered beneath their guidance, building a thriving civilization filled with art, song, and poetry. One day, as they sat together under the celebrities, Arya confessed to Luna that she had constantly felt a bizarre yearning for the sector she had left in the back of. Luna understood those feelings higher than all of us. However, she additionally knew that their new domestic changed into where they clearly belonged. Together, they watched because the stars danced across the velvet sky, their mild reflecting off the still waters of a close-by lake, and they vowed to retain to defend their people and cherish the bond they shared for all of the future years. Years surpassed, and Arya and Luna grew antique collectively. Their once agile limbs slowed, their eyes dimmed, and their fur grew gray. But even as their bodies elderly, their spirits remained younger and vibrant. They endured to lead their people, their knowledge guiding them through the pains and tribulations of life in this bizarre new international. And so, the story of Arya and Luna became a cherished legend amongst their human beings, handed down from era to era. Their names were whispered in hushed tones, and their exploits stimulated countless songs and testimonies. But maximum of all, their story served as a reminder of the power of friendship and the unbreakable bonds that could form between the unlikeliest of companions. Even as the arena around them endured to exchange and evolve, Arya and Luna remained a steady presence, guiding their humans through the darkness and mild alike. They confronted new challenges and conquered new heights, their bond growing more potent with every passing day. They knew that regardless of what the destiny held, they could face it together, for all time certain by using the affection and loyalty that were cast inside the fires of adversity. One night time, as they sat under a cover of stars, Arya became to Luna and stated, my pricey buddy, I on occasion marvel what would have befell if we had by no means met that day inside the wooded area. Would we be leading such pleasant lives now?" Luna regarded up at her with smart, knowing eyes and spoke back, I do now not recognize, Arya, but I am happy that fate brought us together. You have brought light into my life, and I am for all time thankful." They sat in silence for a while, lost of their personal mind. Earlier than Arya spoke once more. Do you ever omit Earth, Luna?" "I recognize I do once in a while. I marvel what became of that international, and if everybody there ever thinks of me." Luna nuzzled against her hand, her tender fur comforting. I too miss that area, Arya. But I trust that we have been meant to locate every different right here, on this global. This is in which we belong now, together." And so, they remained, facet by using side, watching the celebs dance across the velvet sky, their hearts complete of gratitude for the life they shared and the love that bound them. Their tale, just like the constellations above, could for all time be etched into the fabric in their global, a testimony to the long-lasting power of friendship and the power of the human spirit. As the years surpassed, their people endured to thrive, building villages and farms, their way of life flourishing. But with prosperity came enemies, and shortly sufficient, adversarial tribes threatened their way of lifestyles. Arya and Luna stood collectively earlier than their human beings, their voices strong and united. "Should we need to defend our houses?" Arya declared, her gaze in no way wavering. "Should we need to fight for our future, and we should emerge victorious?" Their warriors nodded grimly, their eyes burning with dedication. They educated day and night, honing their skills and forging new weapons. As the day of conflict drew near, Arya and Luna knew that they could not face this chance by myself. They journeyed to a close-by mountain, searching out a more effective tribe who may join their reason. Weeks succeeded as they traveled through treacherous terrain, their toes sore and their spirits weary. At last, they reached the brilliant mountain stronghold, where the chieftain of the robust tribe waited. He was tall and extensive-shouldered, his lengthy black hair tied returned in a warrior's queue. His eyes have been sharp and wise, and there has been an air of authority approximately him that demanded recognize. Arya and Luna bowed low earlier than him, their heads bowed in submission. A great chieftain, ere they stated, their voices barely audible over the sound of the wind. Shall we come in search of your resource? Our people are besieged by means of an adversarial force, and we are outnumbered and outmatched. We beg you to join us in struggle, to assist us guard our homes and our way of lifestyles. The amazing chieftain studied them for a long second earlier than speak me. Your braveness is commendable, Arya and Luna. But why need to I resource you, when you have not yet proven yourselves worth? His words have been harsh, however they have been truthful. Arya and Luna checked out each other, knowing that this become their threat to make a lasting effect. Shall we ask no longer in your charity, brilliant chieftain? Arya answered, her voice constant despite her nerves. Shall we provide you an alliance? If you be a part of us in war, we will proportion our understanding of this land, our capabilities in hunting and farming. Together, we are able to create a new tribe, more potent than any that has come before. The excellent chieftain taken into consideration her phrases, his expression growing more considerate. At closing, he nodded slowly. Very properly, ere he said, I will give you my solution whilst we attain the battlefield. And so, they marched closer to struggle, their numbers swelling with the warriors of the effective new alliance. The enemy forces had been massive, their numbers reputedly limitless. But Arya and Luna knew that together, they may conquer any obstacle. As the struggle raged round them, their courage and management inspired their humans to combat with a fierceness they had in no way recognized before. The tide of the warfare grew to become in their shoes, and soon the enemy lay defeated at their foot. The high-quality chieftain walked up to Arya and Luna, his expression considered one of both appreciate and gratitude. You have established yourselves worthy allies, ere he stated, extending his hand. From this day forth, you and your human beings are welcome in our tribe. A new era dawned for they all, as Arya and Luna's imaginative and prescient of a united tribe have become a fact. They dominated Facet by way of side, their knowledge and electricity guiding their people through the uncertainties of the future. And as they seemed out over their country, they knew that they had cast something surely exceptional, a bond that would undergo all the time. But while they basked in the glow of their triumph, they had been privy to the new demanding situations that lay beforehand. The empire within the east had now not forgotten them, and their spies lurked in every shadow, waiting for impossibility to strike. Arya and Luna knew that they could not rest on their laurels, and so they committed themselves anew to the challenge of securing their human beings' freedom and defense of their manner of lifestyles. To this end, they set up a community of scouts and spies, whose job it became to preserve watch over the borders and alert them to any symptoms of approaching hazard. They also cast alliances with neighboring tribes, trading know-how and resources to make sure that they would stand united towards any foe. As the years surpassed, their realm prospered, and their people grew strong and proud. Arya and Luna watched over them like benevolent guardians, their expertise and compassion earning them the loyalty and respect of all who lived inside their borders. And at the same time as the chants from the east in no way surely faded from their minds, they took comfort in knowing that they had carried out the entirety within their electricity to prepare for something demanding situations would possibly lie beforehand. But then, on a clean and cloudless day, a messenger arrived at their palace, bearing news of a super disturbance within the east. A new empire had risen from the ashes of the antique, more powerful and ruthless than any that had come before. They had already conquered tribe after tribe, enslaving their human beings and leaving a trail of destruction of their wake. The message turned into stark and chilling. They had been coming for Arya and Luna's country next. The two queens sat in silence, each misplaced of their own thoughts as they considered the gravity of the situation. It became clear that they could not wish to face alone against any such ambitious foe. Arya grew to become to Luna, her eyes full of willpower. We should act swiftly, she stated. We ought to over again unite our humans and forge alliances with different tribes to stand against this commonplace enemy and keep our difficult gained freedom. Luna nodded in settlement. And this time, as she brought, her voice steely with solve, we must be prepared for something. We have to educate our warriors relentlessly, give a boost to our defenses, and send our spies deep into enemy territory to research their plans and weaknesses. Together, they set approximately rallying their people, sharing the news of the upcoming danger and urging them to face united in opposition to the forces of darkness. In reaction, their human beings rallied at the back of them, imparting their loyalty and their lives in defense of their native land. And as phrase spread of the Queen's courage and resolution, other tribes from throughout the land reached out to offer their useful resource and their friendship. As the times changed into weeks, and the weeks into months, the Queen's alliance persisted to reinforce. Messengers arrived from remote lands bearing news in their victories, as one by one, the enemy's forces have been driven lower back or defeated. Arya and Luna led their armies into warfare, their presence at the front lines inspiring their troops to greater feats of braveness and electricity. Even the most pro-warriors marveled at their leadership, for they fought not for glory or conquest, however for the love of their human beings and the desire to defend their manner of life. In the midst of the warfare, the queens observed solace in their shared bond. They might frequently retreat to their private chambers, wherein they would talk of their hopes and fears, their dreams for the destiny of their kingdom. They discussed approach and tactics, however additionally the small moments of pleasure that they observed amidst the chaos of war. They laughed collectively, shared tales of their formative years, and dreamed of a time whilst peace could finally reign. As the wintry weather months gave way to spring, the enemy's forces began to falter, morale became low, and their deliver lines stretched thin. The queens knew that this turned into their threat to deliver the very last blow. They planned a coordinated assault across multiple fronts, hoping to seize the enemy off defend and crush them. The spies they had sent into enemy territory had again with precious records, revealing weaknesses in their defenses that they might make the most. The day of the struggle dawned bright and clean. Arya and Luna stood aspect with the aid of side atop a hill, surveying the giant military arrayed earlier than them. Their forces have been fewer in wide variety, however they have been robust and nicely skilled. They had come to disencumber their humans, to repair freedom and prosperity to their land. As the primary rays of daylight broke over the horizon, they raised their swords inside the air, an image of their willpower and their unwavering commitment to victory. The war raged for hours, with the queens moving amongst their troops, encouraging them and providing words of comfort. They led their armies throughout the blood-stained discipline, their presence a beacon of wish within the midst of the carnage. As the day wore on, the tide of the conflict started to turn. The enemy's lines faltered, and their once proud warriors began to escape in defeat.